A few $1,000s for 3 small little items to fix on this car. Let's find out what made it so expensive. Let's get started. This is a 2014 Mercedes GLK350. This is going to be a video for you guys to say, Car Wizard, I see this beautiful Mercedes. I'm trying to put the blinders on and pretend like they're not expensive to repair. Maybe for my situation, I'll have a different story than the last 10,000 people. It's not, guys. European cars cost a lot to fix. The parts are expensive. The labor costs more. There wasn't any serious catastrophe or anything that happened with this vehicle, but they're not leaving here for less than $3 grand. It's going to be very expensive. Before we dive into the little things that broke, let's take a look around this GLK. So here's the front of this GLK, and the paint is in pretty good shape. The headlights are a little bit foggy, but not too bad. This is a Turo rental. The customer has several vehicles. They definitely want to get this one fixed and keep it in good shape so that his customers have a happy experience with the rentals. Nothing extravagant or very crazy about this model. It's just your standard GLK350, and it is in really pretty good shape. Let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around the interior, then we'll get the hood open.
Okay, ladies and gents, 68,602 miles, and I'm loving this gauge cluster. Looking nice as we move back. Looking good. Again, we've got a lot of brown in this vehicle, and I'm liking the difference. I love this wood accents in here. This wood trim is just beautiful. I love the variance in the wood grain. Have a small infotainment screen, our classic circle HVAC little vents there, and then if you need a button or two, well, there you go. You got a lot going on down there. Not what we're used to seeing typically in a Mercedes, but this is. Love the dials, very vintage, and harken back to classic Mercedes from the 1980s. As we go back, you see got a nice little spot there to hide things. Louvered cover, which does work very nice, and more of that variegated wood design as well. As we move back, you see we have cup holders, and we have a split butterfly design kind of opening here. It's a little difficult to open when you're one-handed holding a camera, but trust me, this side does open, and it's very clean because this is a Turo rental car. I love the ivory here. This is in fantastic shape. Love the ventilated section in the center. Got our classic Mercedes headrest up above. Got more of our brown leather on our door card with more of our steel accents as well. The back seat's in a great condition also, and as we move up, you'll see the headliner looking good also. Got a cover over the 2 moonroofs. Not panoramic, but because it's divided, but almost panoramic. So here we are at that steering wheel. I'm loving the brown leather. I love the change from what we see in today's cars, all the black and black leather we see, but we've got standard Mercedes buttons on the side and got our logo in the center. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get that hood open and see what's going on in that engine bay.
Here's our 3.5 V6, and yes, it is partially torn apart. It did not drive in here that way, obviously. But it's quite a bit of tear down to get to the failure that happened on this vehicle, which is kind of a common failure, but they definitely are not cheap. So it came in with a check engine light on, the AC wasn't working very well, and also had an issue with the power steering tilt wasn't working. Those are the 3 items, and that's it. The check engine light was low fuel rail pressure, and we did some digging, some research, and found it could be the in-tank fuel pump or the high pressure pump. Danielson did his due diligence and really dove into it and found that the high pressure pump is just not able to keep up. It's starting to fail in the higher RPM ranges. It can't keep the volume up. So the failure lies within the high pressure pump. Let me show you what that looks like. Just because a part is little doesn't mean it's going to be cheap. But depending on where you get these, they're anywhere from $500, $600, $800 for a high pressure fuel pump. Sometimes you can find some cheap aftermarket ones from China or something. We're not going to put that on this car just for this little piece. But wait, there's more. Once we remove the high pressure pump, there's a little cap that goes on the spring right here, and this rides on the camshaft. And if we look at the roller on there, you can see gray lines in it, which means that the hardened surface is becoming deteriorated, and the bearings are rough. They're very rough. On any high pressure injection system, this little cam follower roller is a very high failure rate item. It's very well known that these can fail. Do you think we're going to reuse this one? Nope. So that adds to the bill. But wait, there's more. Here's our little pump. And if that's not a problem enough, it's where it sits back here on this valve cover in this hole You can see where it kind of just fits into here, which normally should be easy to get to, except for the fact this giant UFO-shaped intake assembly sits on top of it, like this. And you can't get to the bolts, you can't get to the lines. There's a lot of things that you need to unhook and trace down that you can't even touch those parts until you get the intake out of the way. Which means it's not a 15-minute job, there's hours involved getting this intake off. So let me go ahead and pull it back off again. And if you take that off, you can't reuse these little green gaskets, which go here on all these little intake ports to seal off the upper intake plenum, which adds even more to the bill. You get the gist. Things on newer cars today are not like they used to be. It's like, well, that's a 20-minute job and zip, zip a couple of bolts and I'm done. Nothing happens like that anymore on newer cars. They hide stuff on top of stuff and stuff on top of that stuff, and guess what? It's all plastic. You can't go rip-roaring through there with impact wrenches. You'll crack and break everything, which means you've got to dial back the speed, take your time, and make sure you don't crack or hurt anything. So, that alone right there, with the parts, the labor, you're at $1,000 already. The part alone was over half of that. So, we're not done yet. Let's go take a look in the interior one more time. So you see this little stubby little stalk here, Mrs. Wizard?
Yeah, it is kind of retracted.
Yeah, it must be cold inside of here. It shrunk up. But this is the one that operates a power tilt up and down, the motor inside the steering column. And that motor is dead, which means the steering wheel won't move up and down. Most people would say, you know, it's at a good position. I'm just going to leave it that way. I'm not spending the money. But this is a Turo rental. Every person that drives this car is going to have a different preference. They're going to want to move that steering wheel, and when it's dead, they're going to be like, well, this is crap. This guy is a really good customer. He takes care of his cars. I really applaud him from the maintenance he does on his Turo cars. He keeps them all in good shape. He definitely wants to get that fixed. But the motor alone is $700 just for the motor. Then we got to take the steering column clamshells apart and take all those things apart and actually spend time replacing the motor. And we're close to $800–900 after sales tax, maybe close to $1,000. There's the second $1,000. And I also mentioned there was AC issues. This is one of those rare times that it doesn't cost tons of money to fix. It was just a service port valve, which, let me show you where that's at. So remove this cover off the cap, and you can see that there's green staining on the aluminum. This little Schrader valve inside of here was slowly leaking refrigerant out, and the UV dye has stained the aluminum. So we replaced that valve and recharged the system, and the AC blows ice cold. The customer thought the compressor might be bad or something very expensive. We got lucky on that. So it's just Schrader valves, recharge, the AC is back alive again. We're still waiting on the parts to arrive for a high pressure pump job and the steering column and all those things. But when you tally up all the things and the sales tax, it gets really close to $3,000. That's a lot of money for just little rinky-dink parts. That's the way it is on a European car. So this has some age on it. Before this vehicle leaves, we don't want to just put our blinders on and say, oh, we didn't see nothing here, see no evil, hear no evil. We don't do that here. We're going to raise the thing up and give an inspection to check those common European failure points, flex disc and motor mounts and things of that nature. So let's take a look. So under this panel here, there's the radiator core support and things of that nature. We don't see any coolant seeping out or anything coming out there. Here's our oil pan to the engine. I don't see anything leaking there as well. Steering rack looks happy, nothing dripping out of it. Check, this is a rear-wheel drive model. As you can see, it does not have the front CV shafts here, so we don't need to check those. Brakes are like 90%, struts are not leaking, sway bar links are good. Same story over here, very thick brakes, dry strut, nothing leaking there. Our control arm bushings all are intact and not torn. We do have some dual exhaust going towards the back. Here's our transmission, nothing leaking. Our flex disc is in very good shape. It is not cracked, it is not torn, it is very happy. And before we get too far back, I did promise some motor mount checks, so let's get those. There it is. It's not collapsed. It's not resting on anything, so it's upright and happy. Same thing on that side as well. Happy motor mounts. Our dual exhaust continues here to this resonator chamber, and then it goes back into dual again out the back. Here's our rear flex disc, and it appears to be in good shape as well. Back brakes are about 60% remaining, but they're still good. Our bushings are in good shape. Nothing cracked on those. The strut is dry, it's not leaking anything. And our sway bar link is not loose. 60% brakes, CV boots are good. The strut is dry, and our sway bar link is not loose. So I don't see any issues on the underneath. This car is good to go as soon as we get its other issues solved, and it'll be ready for more Turo rentals. Let's get this thing on the ground. So I get a lot of people asking me, hey, I'm looking at this GLK or an E500, E550, or BMW 3 Series, 5 Series. Are these a good buy? They can be if you're like this customer and keep on top of the maintenance. Something breaks, get it fixed. No qualm about the prices, you just get it done. But they're not a Toyota. They're not a Lexus, they're not a Honda. No, they're not going to be like that. If you're wanting that level of reliability, but you're looking at one of these, you're looking in the wrong direction. When things do break on the BMWs and the Mercedes and the Jaguars and the Land Rovers and the Range Rovers, all these cars, whatever price you have in your head, you need to triple or quadruple that. That's what it's going to cost to fix the vehicle. Just like I just showed you, a few small items, not that big of a deal, approaching $3,000. Very, very expensive. The owner of this vehicle, like I said, has a Turo rental, and he has 2 more of these GLKs. He actually bought them from my good friend in Alpharetta, Georgia, Cameron Davis, who owns DC Motorworks. He is Ed Bolian's personal mechanic. He also has his own business and sells cars, a dealership as well. Very highly trusted. He is basically the car wizard of the Atlanta area. One nice thing, since he's such a great guy, he operates his business like I do. And when he found out about this situation, that this customer bought this car and it has some issues, he bought this from Cameron. Cameron informed me he will be contributing to the bill. He would like to help out. So that's going to make the bill a little cheaper. Definitely, if you're looking for cars to buy in that area, definitely hit up Cameron at DC Motorworks. He sells really nice Mercedes, all kinds of really cool cars. But now you know, kind of, you're looking at a Mercedes, you could end up in this boat with lots of small repairs that tally up to really expensive really fast.
But Wizard, it's still such a beautiful car.
It really is. It looks nice. And me and Mrs. Wizard are both in that boat together. We don't drive boring cars. We like fancy cars. We like things that look nice like this.
That look different, that doesn't look like every other car on the road.
You don't want to look like a cookie cutter every other car on the road. We also understand and accept the full idea that we could get stuck with repairs like this. Luckily...
Wait, you mean you get stuck with repairs like that?
Right, I was about to say, Mrs. Wizard happens to be married to the car wizard. So those repairs won't be so expensive, luckily. But we know those things can happen. We expect that it's a possibility, but we really like driving nice cars. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this GLK or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. A lot of the tools we have for sale there are tools we actually use in the shop daily. If you purchase any of them, we get a small cut and we really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button here, because right now, Crazy D's on the phone taking more scheduling for more crazy scenarios like this. Thanks for watching.